Welcome once again to as I said, our session, our first session of the year 2026. And one of the things that I'm excited about about today is this year we are going to be we are celebrating 5 years of this assignment. And I just started during COVID, and we were on WhatsApp, and then we are now here. So I'm
Mhm.
so excited that today we are having this session in the fifth year of this program, specifically on the 31st of January. That's when we started this 5 years ago. So today, as I said, this is a brand new season. Last
Mhm.
year we had the pop packed session, and uh, this year I promise that we're also going to be having different areas from academia, from finance, from each and every arts, each and every sector that we find a young person in that sector. The mission, the vision of this program is to make sure that we have these discussions to prepare and ask those questions. How do we navigate this? How do we navigate this? So it is my singular honor to be able to welcome you to this session. So without further ado, I'm going to have a special guest today. As I said, we are starting this year on a high note, especially when people are beginning the year. They begin with some resolutions. I don't know if everybody
Mhm.
is
That's
is
right.
still sticking to their resolutions.
Yeah.
But when people start, people they make resolutions from finance. I want to save. I want to do this. I want to do this. I don't know how many have saved. Have saved, but we are going to be, we thought of having this now before people may make wrong decisions, or before before the end of the year. Oh, I didn't meet this goal. So today we have a special topic that we're going to be discussing about the issue that is to do with financial literacy and wealth creation. It's a very important topic. Sometimes some of these topics they are not. We don't have time to really navigate and delve them. But today we are going to be navigating and having discussions about this. And we know that we are connected to different people that are connected to us in different platforms from different places. So this session is very, very important. So as I said today, we have a special guest in the room. And I'm going to read the bio. It's very, very important
Oh,
to read people's bios.
I see.
So I'm going to I'm going to read this bio as we begin this special session today. So Kelvin Mills is a technology specialist, financial literacy advocate, and a committed Christian with professional experience in cloud engineering, including Microsoft Cloud, Azure. Is it the correct spelling? Is it
Azure,
Azure
yeah.
or something? I don't know. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. And Microsoft 365 and Citrix cloud environments. His professional work emphasizes on how modern cloud computing, its architecture, security, and scalability drives today's technology advances, including secure fintech platforms, digital financial services, and broader access to investing tools. He is the founder of Tech Transition Hub, a technology education platform dedicated to equipping individuals, especially those transitioning from non-technical backgrounds, with practical career-ready skills in cloud computing, IT support, and digital systems. His approach to technology and finance is grounded in integrity, stewardship, and responsible decision making. Beyond his professional work, Kelvin is a music director, sound engineer, and multi instrumentalist, actively serving through music ministry. He's also a proud donor of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, supporting the fight against childhood cancer, reflecting his faith-driven commitment to compassion, service, and community impact. What a bio! What a bio! What a bio! What a bio! And I'm so humbled that I have you, my brother, in this. I think last year we were supposed to do this. I said I'm going to have you on this podcast, and I'm so excited that finally this year you are the as we are celebrating, this
Mhm.
this this milestone, you're the one who's going to be
Yeah.
ushering us into it. So, Kelvin, welcome to the next gen. Unleashed podcast. I'm going to leave this time to you. Welcome.
Wow, welcome. Thank you. I wasn't sure if the bio was myself or not. I was trying. Wow, amazing. We thank God. I mean, I think sometimes, we read these things not because we just want to put ourselves out there, but also to paint a picture that it is possible wherever you find yourself. I think today I was reflecting on something earlier this morning and looking back at, where we've all come from, looking back at how, we all started life, some of the difficulties where we found ourselves. I don't think we ever imagined that we'll be in certain positions now. So I think it is. I thank God. I thank God for the profile. Amen. Amen. So, but yeah, truly, I'm honored to be part of this. I think NextGen, I like the name, and it ties into some of the things I'll be talking about. So, I'm grateful, and like as you said, 5 years of doing this, it is only the doing of the Lord. And I really thank God that you've kept pushing. It's all about consistency. So I really thank God and keep doing a great job. And I'm honored to be the first person to speak for this year. So glory be to God on that. So everyone joining, as Chris said, my name is Kelvin. Chris is a brother to me. So this is more of like a brotherly conversation. So I'm excited.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I think looking at a topic that Chris had shared with me, understanding financial literacy and general wealth creation.
Mm,
I think it is very important. And yesterday, last night, I was on another show or another program similar to this with people from other parts of Africa and also here sharing a few things on finances. And I realized that we're in an age whereby financial literacy is not becoming a myth any longer. A couple years back, I'd say this current Gen Z generation, they're being a bit more receptive and a bit more open to financial systems and financial education. I think the millennial dispensation, that's us, we did not really catch it up early for a lot of people, but I think people are still trying to grab it. I'm not sure of generations prior to the millennials and also to the Gen Zs. But all I'm saying here is that the educational gap when it comes to finances and financial literacy knowledge is being closed, and you do not want to miss it. You do not want to miss it, and it is very important. So again, I'll be going back to the topic every now and then just to make sure that I'm on track. Um, you know, you know, legacy starting young, like all these things are very important aspects of finances that I've come to realize that it is very important. For some of us, you may have missed it for years back. You're not trying to get yourself properly aligned, but this is why we are having these conversations as young adults and as next gen. And the reason why I said I like the name is because it ties into one of the things I'll talk about. It's not about us, it's also about the generation that is to come. When you go for other financial seminars, they'll tell you that generational wealth is very important because it's not just for your generation, it is also for your generation to come. You want to leave
mm,
a legacy so that the name Christopher doesn't only live within a certain period and time
mm,
frame, but then even after, when you are no more, your kids
mm,
will also still carry that legacy because names are powerful. So
mm,
this is not just about money or I want to invest in a stock here. It goes deeper than that.
mm, mm,
Financial literacy changes short-term goals and also long-term goals. It affects the now and it also affects the future. So that's the broader, spectrum I want, all of us join in to think about it. It's not just about you. It's not just about you making your first $10,000. It's not just about you making your first $100,000. It's not just about you making your first million. You can make your first million and still go broke. We've seen a lot of, pro athletes. We've
mhm,
seen people who've won the lotteries here and there, but then they're not able to still manage. We are usually taught how to make money, but not how to manage money.
Mm.
That's what I realized. So for most of us, maybe you take a finance class, you take an accounting class, we've been preconditioned that we're supposed to go to school, learn a
Mm.
career, make an
Mm.
income, and then it ends there. And then we are always locked up in this, in this cycle where we keep circling around the same thing. And
Mm.
you hear people
Mm.
saying, 9 to 5 is not enough, 9 to 5 is not, but what are you doing about it? Because you've not been prepared to come out of that cycle. So
Mm.
again, this is just an introductory note. I just want you guys to know that it goes beyond. I want to make a trade today. Oh, the stock market
Mm.
opens tomorrow, and I want to make it goes way beyond that.
Mm.
So it's not just a quick get rich quick scheme that, and people have that notion. Again, I was on another platform yesterday, and from the questions, you can tell that
Mm.
people are in a hurry to make X amount of money. Like, okay, what's that stock that if I put my money in now, I'm gonna get, 100X tomorrow? It's fine, you
Mm.
can think that way, but that is not the way to go.
Mm.
And I'll explain some of these reasons. So, and I mentioned this, high earners can still live paycheck to paycheck if, financial knowledge is not properly disseminated across generations.
Mm.
And as young people, this is how we want to start. We want to start not from, if you're on stage one now, you want to make sure that your kids start on stage three.
Mm.
And I'll give a very good example that I've realized over the years. you know Let me just share. I've
Mhm.
seen that over the years, a lot of parents or the older generation, again, this may be limited to a certain demographics, okay. The average parent would take their child to school, encourage them to take a career, encourage them to, do well. And now you realize that once the parent stops working, once the parent retires, it now becomes the child's responsibility to take care of the parent. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we are not supposed to take care of our parents. We are not, the Bible does not teach, we are believers. The Bible does not teach that.
Mm.
But from a financial standpoint, we want to get to a point whereby we are not looking forward for our kids to give us $10, $20 in years to come because we do not have. We want to be in a situation whereby even if we are no longer working, we are still able to take care of ourselves as if we were working. Now, if you look at the lives of the millionaires, what happens? They employ their own kids even at old age.
Mm.
If you think about it critically, they employ their own kids. If you look at the great corporations, once their kids are in college, they employ them into their own company. So for a very long time, whether the parent is still working or not working, whether they're no longer inactive, like working 9 to 5, whatever the case may be, they've been able to pass on like some level of generational wealth to their kids, and they themselves are not in poverty. Because what happens is that if the people around you are not doing well, are not well to do financially, and you are the only one that has been singled out, what happens at the end of the day is that they will end up leeching from you. You would have to end up taking care of everyone else, and that brings you down. So we want to be at a point whereby I want to be at a point whereby I'm retired and I'm still able to fly private. I'm still able to do everything I want. That, my son will come to me and say, I need to run this deal. It's X amount of money. Help me out. How do I go about with it? And I use my experience to help him negotiate deals. I don't want to
Mm.
be in a situation whereby let's say I'm retired from work, I'm in my old age, I'm calling my son constantly. Hey, son, you're not minding me. Come and look at your father.
Mm. Mm.
No, 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 no. You don't want to be there. So again, I'm creating this consciousness. All right. Now, I'm going to start with this. And I want you guys to think about it and let this sink in. Okay. Time is the most valuable asset we have.
Mm.
Time is the most valuable asset we have. It's not the money, it's not the stocks you have, it's not the asset. Time is the most valuable asset that you have.
mm,
Now, you can be a millionaire and on your sick bed, the last thing you ask for is more time to be alive. And I'm taking this somewhere. Time is the most important asset that we have. If you're here and you're looking to invest, and I'll give some free, I'll give out some free stocks out at the end. So if you're investing,
mm.
take note of those. Yes. So time is the most valuable assets that we have. All right. And I wrote this that time is quiet when it's helping you, and it's louder when it's gone.
Mm,
When you have time on your hands right now, we are young, we are energetic, we have some source of income. We feel like everything is okay. It's time is gentle. Time is quiet. We don't feel the urgency to invest. We don't feel the urgency to get things done. But when you no longer have time, time becomes loud.
mm,
You feel the pressure that, oh my God, look at my age. I have nothing to show for. Oh, because time will not tap you on your shoulder and say, oh, this is the best time for you to invest this. No, time doesn't do that. Time will sit quietly and watch you
mm,
until you don't have enough, then it
mm,
comes glaring right in your face.
mm,
Do you understand?
mm,
So
mm,
it is
mm,
very
mm,
important for us to understand that one day before you realize time has passed.
mm,
I know
mm,
some of us want to hear all that, invest in this, invest in that. We'll come to that. But this is to prepare your mind. Time is the most valuable asset that we have. Okay,
mm,
now money can be replaced, but time cannot. You
mm,
can make money today, you can lose it today, you can make that money again. But once you lose time, you cannot get that back.
mm,
So, the most important thing you would waste is not money. The most important thing that you would end up wasting is not money, but it is time.
mm, mm,
The most important thing you'll be wasting it's not money.
mm,
There's a context to that. However, time will be the most important thing you end up wasting. And I'll explain a few things. I want to give a very good example just within the context of, investing and finance. Okay, now, simple math. So we have two personalities here. Okay, and I'll read that out on my slide. Okay, so we have two personalities here, personality A, personality B. So the first person invests $150 a month. Every month, that person A is, constantly investing $150 a month at an average rate of, let's say, about 7%. Okay. So over about 40 years, that should give you roughly a little below $400,000. So about $360,000. That's person A. 140, and he invests that for about 40 years. Okay, now I don't think 40 years is far away. Just look at your age now and add 40 years. It's not that far. It's really not that far. Okay, now personality B starts investing at the age of 45, right? Now, personality B invests $500 a month at the same interest rate for 20 years. Personality B ends up getting about 260. So the first person starts investing at 25 years. The second person starts investing at 45. The second person is investing more, but will end up with less. The first person is investing less, but is investing for a longer period of time and will end up getting more. So the difference here clearly is time. The difference here clearly is time. So think about it this way. 2, 3 years ago, I said I'll invest, I've been hearing about, investments and all these things. So I'll do it. 3 years ago, we didn't do anything about it. You didn't look into it. You didn't look into what stocks are. You didn't look into, financial statements of companies. You don't know when IPOs are coming out. It's like the world of finance to you is a mystery and a myth. pretty much. All you think about is once I get my income, I spend, I move, I go. Okay. You don't read any financial news. You don't read any financial books. You're just flowing. The year comes, a year comes by, as another year comes by. Now, as time goes by, what's happening is whatever you plan on investing, you are lowering your return in the future. So, person A at 25 is investing 150 a month constantly for 40 years. They make 360. The second person starts investing at 45, and I'll explain what happens when you become a late investor. And that's where I believe a lot of people are in that box. So they are like, you know what? Forget about it. I missed it. I'm not going to invest. I'll just, be okay. I have what I have. I'm okay. And I'll just hope that life figures itself out. Because a lot of people have found that, and because we are young adults here. So I don't want us to be in that position. If you are below 30, if you are below 30, if you are below 30, do everything you can to get yourself in the right position. If you are between 20 and 25, sweet spot. If your time is 3 o'clock, the folks on the third floor, if you are from 30, I want you to, with everything you have on the inside of you, do not let these things pass you by. The reason being that as you age, or as we age, there are more responsibilities. There are more responsibilities, and it becomes difficult for you to do certain things because now you have kids, now you bought a house, you've so many things that you're supposed to handle. You may not even have the necessary funds to invest appropriately. And again, that's going to be my last point. I'll talk about, what happens when you invest late. Okay. And Chris, keep me up on the time, okay, so I don't go overboard, okay. So for us as young people, and I spoke about this yesterday, that it is very important for us to put systems around us. Listen, discipline in itself is very difficult to do. You cannot keep, you cannot rely on your emotions to get things done. That, 2026, man, I'm gonna invest, I'm gonna make sure, I put things here, you say all these things, late December, January 1st, you're all pumped up, you're looking for books to read and all of that. Trust me, if you don't have systems in place to safeguard you, to help you do the things you want to do, even when you don't feel like. Today is 1st of February. There are a lot of people, whatever they wrote to do in January is out the door already. They're like, we'll forget about it. Like, we'll see whatever happens. We need systems in place to help us, and that's going to help us direct us to do the things we want to do. Okay, now, what's the first system? And I spoke about this yesterday. Budgeting. You need to have a budget. You need to have a budget and a spending plan for each month. You need to have a spending plan for each month. And I'm not talking about the spending plan on the top of your head because that's going to fly out the door. I'm not talking about the one you are, okay, I got paid today, so I'll do this, I'll do that. We all do that. But you need to be very intentional. Put pen to paper and write down, okay, in January, this is what I want to do. I want to invest X amount of dollars. I want to put this money here. I want to put this money here. As per however you have, or as per your income, or whatever financial situation you find yourself. Make sure you write these things down. You may not be able to achieve everything, but again, it is a system. So it's going to help you keep to that schedule. It's going to help you be consistent, whether you are fulfilling 100% of it or not. Now, at the end of the first quarter of the year, you can go back to your notes and say, okay, January, I wanted to save $50. I saved $25. February, I wanted to save $50. I saved $30. You can track your self-progress by that. You can track if you don't put systems in place, it's not going to work. So 1, budgeting. 2, investment systems. Now, I want you to know, and I said this, I think, Chris, I don't know if some of the people here were on the other meeting, but saving is different from investing. You can save, but it does not mean you are investing. You are saving, but it doesn't mean you are investing. And that's a lot of people do that a lot. A lot of people end up, saving, oh, I have a good savings account, I put money. No, saving is different from investing. So the second thing is have an investment system around you. Okay, what do you want to invest in? All right, I want to invest into stocks. I want to invest into cryptocurrency. I want to invest into real estate. However, pay your financial situation, and I'll get there. However, however your financial situation allows you, make sure that you have a system that is directing you to invest. If the system means that you're putting $20 in an Apple share every 2 weeks, that is the system you've created and you have to stick to it. I always say, if you own an iPhone and you don't have an Apple share, go and take the phone back to the store and tell them to give you your money. Because you don't have to just have the mentality of I'm just a consumer, I just want to consume things. You need to have the attitude of an owner. I also want to own whatever that I am consuming. So again, if you have an iPad, if you have a MacBook, and this will hit a lot of people, if you have AirPods and you don't have an Apple, take it back. You are not being serious. And I'm saying this, not because it's fancy to have Apple stocks, but these are systems. These are systems. I'm not going to lie to you. These are systems. These are systems. So I've mentioned budgeting and I've mentioned investment system. So if your personal system is that, anytime I get, any spare money or this month, I just want to put $20. Maybe you're a person that you like to drink soda a lot, and may the Lord help us. Amen. On this point, may the Lord help us. So maybe you like to drink soda a lot, right? You can still look at the Coca-Cola company and still invest in because you are buying Coke every day, every week, every year. So why not use that little $20, little $100 to invest in some of these companies? And I'm not going to lie, a company like Coca-Cola is one of the companies that pays a lot of high yield dividends at the end of the financial year. And I don't want to go into all those little details for now. But I'm just saying there are things around you that, you can just think about and be like, oh, what about a Facebook stock? Oh, okay. What about a stock for, Tesla? What about you have a Mac, you have a laptop, you have a Microsoft laptop. You have, you're using Microsoft products. Think about it that, okay, I need to invest in some of these things because every now and then everyone is buying. These companies will always exponentially have shown that they will always make gains. I hope I'm preaching. Okay. So investment systems. Okay. Make sure you have investment systems. Now, these investment systems, as I said, it's not a get rich quick scheme. So what you give is what you get. What you give is what you get. Now, someone can say, oh, let's say an Apple stock is up 100% in January. Whoa, Apple, and everyone is talking about it. Oh, Apple stocks are doing so well. It's 100%. And as emotional as we are as human beings, we're like, oh wow, yeah, I have an Apple stock. Oh, I have an Apple stock. We are up 100%. But if you go into your books, you realize that you only bought 20%, $20 of Apple last 3 years, and you didn't top up again. So The person who invested $1,000 in Apple, do you think you're on the same level? You're not. So the very stock you're claiming that, oh, this stock is not doing well, I'm not making anything out of investment, is because you put $20 in there and you went to sleep and you said, I'll leave it there like that. No, it doesn't work like that. Again, the system you put in place will make sure that as time goes on, as you save, as you work, you keep investing. It's a constant thing. You have to be consistent. You should be able to open your portfolios every now and then and check and say, oh, okay, I only have $100 in this portfolio, but I want this portfolio to get to $1,000. God, I want this portfolio to get to $1,000. I want to keep investing. I'm not saying that you're leaving the $100 to become 1,000. No, what I'm saying is you're putting yourself in a place whereby you can keep adding up till it's 1,000. So if it goes up, you are also up. And that's how it works. Okay. Now, I think the next thing is what we are doing, education, building, having constant education on finances. And that's one thing. Education never stops. We always have to consistently learn. We always have to consistently learn. If you hear a phrase, if you hear a word, if you hear a concept you don't understand, take a day out of your busy schedule. You can pause on the TikTok, and even the algorithms are helping us. Once you start searching financial stuff on your TikTok, the algorithm is going to flood your space with a lot of financial stuff, so you can stick to it and learn a thing or two. Okay, now I think I had already mentioned this, that money can be earned but time cannot. Okay, now starting early would reduce the risk and pressure. If you start to invest early, it would reduce the risk and the pressure. Now, I don't know if any of you if you've looked into insurance, life insurance as a form of investment, you would realize that they will always look at your age. They would always look at your age. The reason being that the younger person is less likely to die than the older person. That's facts. Does that make sense? So investing early will be able. So if let's say, I want a very good example. So Tesla, for instance, did not do well as compared to how it did in previous years, right? If you are 60 years old now and you've invested $400,000 into Tesla, you will have sleepless nights because, like, oh, what's happened? Elon Musk, why are you on Twitter? Take your time, focus on the company. Blah, blah, blah. Why are you doing politics? Why are you doing this? What's going on? Facebook, hey, where because you are at age 60, you're looking to get returns on so you are in a rush. But if you're 25 and you've invested in Tesla, or you've invested in in SpaceX, all of those, you know very well that this company has a long-term plan to go to space, to do robotaxi, to do robots, there are a lot of products down the line. Cybertruck came, or so what is giving you assurance is the time that you have, because you are not in a hurry, and that's what allows you to invest for a long term. So if you put $100 in a stock, you've read about the company, and I'll come to that. You know that, okay, this is a tech company I'm investing in, and this is a tech company that is into AI. Right now, the stock is down. I'm not worried. I'll buy the stock when it is low, because I know this whole AI space just started. It's about to blow up. So I'm not bothered. But if you're 60 years, most likely you may not be alive when AI is at its peak. Do you get what I mean? So it is very important. So time allows us to recover all the mistakes that that would make, and it helps for us to also compound on our interest, because it's all a time game. It's all a time game. Okay, now let me make this very, very important example, and maybe you guys will get it. All right, now How many of us are on the okay, so on the chat, so I see 9. All right, okay, fine. So let's say Chris starts a company. Okay, Chris starts a company. Now you are hiring people to work from 9 to 5, correct? So the 8 hours of their 24 hours belongs to you. You pay them a salary for that. Okay, now we'll make just a quick math. We'll make a quick math here. So you have 8 people working for you. You have 8 people working for you from 9 to 5. Now, if you were to be working, you also have that 9 to 5 to work. You also have that 8 hours. Okay. Now, you pay all these 8 folks to work for you. What's happening is that you are paying for their time, not necessarily the skill that they have. Because if someone doesn't have the skill, you can still train them. So what happens when I go to work in the when I go to work in the morning, and my manager sees me, hey Kelvin, how you doing? I have offered my 8 hours to my manager and to my company. Right. Now, the owner of the company in this case is Chris. Chris ideally should also have that same 8 hours, but guess what? He now has 64 hours. Why? Because he's been able to, pay for everyone's 8 hours. Give me your 8 hours. Give me your 8 hours. Give me your 8 hours. Now go do what I want you to do. So whatever I would achieve in 8 hours, Chris has 64 hours to achieve the same thing. There is no way I can be wealthy than Chris. Do you understand? So the 8 hours that I am working, you have 64 sitting on your laps. That is why you may not be working and you still make money, because what? Other people are working for you. Again, it is time that we are trading out. It's not necessarily our skill. So this goes to say that, everything is about time. Everything is about time. And as young people, let's not allow ourselves to think, oh, we have time on our hands. Oh no, I am young, and I have time. I can do anything that I want. Guess what? As time goes by, you realize that responsibilities will start compounding on you, and the pressure on you yourself. If you look back, you're like, wow, I'm 45 years old and I have nothing to show for. Okay, now let me address one thing. Someone would say, I'm not in a position to invest. I'm not working. I'm in a tight spot. I'm not in a position to work. Don't worry. This is why you are here. You don't need to learn about these things before after you've gotten a job or after you have a good income. There are people like that. I'm waiting till I get my first $100,000 job, and then this Bitcoin thing will tackle it. No, you're gonna make a big mistake. Learn it now, so that once you start making some good income, you are not now going back to say, so what are the stocks? What is the S&P 500? What is dollar cost averaging? Okay, well, what does interest rates mean? What? No. So use this time wisely to make sure that you are placing value on yourself. And I made one statement yesterday on another platform. I said, before you invest in another stock, have you invested in yourself? Have you invested in yourself? So you may not be working, you may not be in a good spot, but I am just here to let you know that make sure you have all these things aligned and you have a game plan. Again, these are the systems I've been talking about. You have a system already in place. So once, God blesses you, you have a good job, a decent job, or something that brings you income, mentally you are locked in. Chris, I hope I'm communicating. Mentally, you are locked in and you are ready to just hit on the go. You are not going to make decisions out of emotions. You're not going to make decisions out of emotions. You've already learned about the principles of, of budgeting. You've learned the principles of dollar cost average. You've learned the principle of time and interest. So you are in a position already to move at a higher level. So please, if you're on this and you're saying, oh, I'm just going to wait till I get a good, trust me, even if all you have is $50, even if all you have is $50, take some out of that $50 and make that move. Like, take that step. Wake up in the morning and be like, oh wow, I don't have much, but God, with the little you've given me, I've been faithful and I've been able to invest. Just like, the parable of the sower. Like, if you read that scripture, it's so deep and it causes so many financial, like, insights. Be like, okay, I have been able to at least invest, and this is how I'm going to go. If you don't do these things for yourself, no one cares about you, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. No one really cares about you. No one really cares about you, because the thing is, if Chris, or no, not use if, when, Chris is at a certain level, he's flying private, he's all over the place, doing great things for the kingdom, doing great things for Africa, doing great things for the youth and people out there. And Chris sees me and I'm like, oh, Chris, I'm going through. Chris will be like, what have you been doing all this while? At that point, the sympathy may just be, you know what, let me give you $500, but it literally ends there. It literally ends there. So no one really cares about you. You can, console and be like, I don't have a job. It is sad. A lot of people did not have jobs. So whatever you're going through, they're also going through the same thing. And they don't feel for you like you think they do. They will be there to support you, but at the end of the day, it is you and your decisions. I hope I'm making sense. Okay, now because of time, I'll skip through a few things. How much time do I have left, Chris? Chris, can you hear me? I think you're okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I think about 10 minutes.
About 10 minutes. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I'll skip a few things. Delayed gratification. Delayed gratification. We are always in the habit of, I want to do something to feel good now and today, and that prevents us from investing. Okay, now I'll move forward. So let's in the last 10 minutes, let's have an action plan. I hope if that's a good thing. Let's have an action plan. If you're here and you're already investing, that's good, that's great. Again, I'll share some stocks that I personally have in my portfolio. You can look into them. But I'm here for those who do not even have anything and they're now starting. Those are the people, those are my guys. So let's have an action plan. Open one savings or one investment account in the coming week. Open one, savings and one investment account in the coming week. I'm not saying go and put thousands of dollars in. No, I just said open it and make it active. At least you've taken that step. Okay, and for the savings accounts, make sure you are opening a savings account that is a high yield savings account. Do not open a savings account that gives you an interest rate of 0.01. Bank of America, I always mention their names. Do not open those savings accounts. Open a high yield savings account. Okay. Because at the end of the month, you see your interest rolling in and you smile. Okay. So that's our action plan. We are starting that this week. Open a savings account and an investment account this week. All right. Now we're in the month of February. That's my birthday month. So I'm really happy for that. Now, learn one financial principle. I'm not saying learn two. Learn one financial principle this month. Learn one financial principle this month. Okay, I see there are questions. I'll come to that. Learn one financial principle this month. It can be anything. It can be proper spending. It can be budgeting. It can be any principle. Just take this month and learn about it. Even if you can make it 2, that's even perfect. So I mean, we are starting a new week. You can split the month into 2. You learn one the first 2 weeks. You assess yourself. You went. Just learn something this month. Okay. And the last thing is start a money conversation with a family member or someone you call as a friend. Okay, someone you call as a friend, a family. So see these conversations. I have friends that we talk about these things. They'll be like, "Oh, Kelvin, I'm looking at this stock. I think it's going to do well." These are the things that will keep your interest going. Because if you don't talk about money and you don't talk about some of these things, your interest will just die off. It will just die out, just like that. So start a money find someone that you can discuss, some of these things. Hey, what's going on in the financial market? What are you doing today? Are you taking any strategies? Are you taking any steps? What are your plans for the year? Are you buying any stock? Like, let's just have a conversation. And sometimes it's not even about buying, but at least knowing what's going on. Okay, so that's our action plan. Open a high yield savings account, open a broker investment account, learn 1 or 2 financial principles this month, and start one money conversation with a close friend or family member. If you don't take these action plans, I'll tell Chris to take you out of the group because you are not helping us. Amen. That's just on a lighter note. Okay. So just to end, maybe I'll let you come in before I mention. I have some free stocks out there. I'll put them out there if people want to invest. So that'll be the last thing I'll say. So if you want to come in, I don't know if there are any questions. That'll be great.
Okay, thank you so much, Kelvin. Wow, this was rich. I believe those who have joined in, you can agree with me that this was a rich conversation. And I told Kelvin earlier on when you called it this morning, like I really do this as an interview, but I said this today. I want you to just lecture and speak. I'm not going to be interjecting, and I'm happy that most of you guys you can agree with me that this was a really a conversation. Sometimes some of these conversations we don't have these conversations most of the times, but this is the platform. Like I said, this is the next gen that we're talking about. So before we